Hey guys, I am sorry. I meant to post this yesterday, but I went home and fell asleep. So here is a little tutorial for those of you who are curious how I made the throw pillow. So first of all, I'm going to share my screen with you guys so that you can kind of see what I'm doing here. While I'm doing that, I'll get pulled up here. I just wanted to say thank you. It's been really fun reading your comments. There you go. And I'm glad that you guys liked what I did. I get a lot of inspiration from things that you guys do, so it's fun to see that you like something I did. So, okay, so what we're going to do first is we're going to open up our studio. And the easiest way to trace an image, whether it is something like what I did with this handwriting or something from like Google, is to put whatever image you're wanting onto your desktop. It makes it a lot easier to just drag it in. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to drag in the portion of the letter that I used. So you can see here, I took this with my phone, and this, you know, the original lettering is really kind of thick, and there's not a lot of space, like, for example, in between like the I here. I should say the I of the E. I don't know what you guys call those. I call it an I. You know, any of these little spaces here, like this E right here, that little I right in there. I mean, those are hard to weed. So the key is to have a high resolution image. So I'm going to shrink this down just to get it into our space, and then we'll make it bigger here again. All right. So now we have what we want into Studio. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to click this little button up at the top. It's kind of like a green square squiggly thing, which is the trace function. So you click that, and then you click this top button that says select trace area, and then you're going to literally come over here and you are going to drag, you know, your box all the way over what you want traced. So I want all of this, and you can see that there's some things in here, and when you let go, it fills it in like this. You can see there's some things in here, like this next line that my grandpa had written. I don't want those things, but we'll get that all cleaned up here in a little bit. I also didn't want this little Tuesday up here, but we'll get him cleaned up too. So the yellow here is going to be, everything that's yellow is what's going to trace. So you're going to want to make sure that you can get as much of that yellow as you can. Like, for example, in this M over here on the word male, there's a little bit there that's not fully yellow. So you can watch some YouTube videos, because honestly, I don't know how to explain these high pass filters, low pass filters, threshold. I don't really know what any of those are. All I know is that you want to have everything that you want to trace in yellow. So I'm just going to kind of mess with the threshold here for just a minute. I'm going to increase it. Don't want to do too much of that because every time there we go. So that looks pretty good. So then what I'm going to want to do here is, I've got everything, you know, yellow. I'm going to click this trace button. So when you click trace like that, what it does is once you pull this image out of here, there's everything that you've got. Okay, so I'm going to delete this. And here's where kind of the time-consuming part comes in. So you can see that in addition to tracing all of the letters, it also brought in all this other stuff here, like along the side, which was the edge of my paper, and some of the stuff from down below, right? So what you want to do for this is you right click, and you're going to click release compound path. And what that does, think of this function as like ungrouping on steroids. When you do this, not only are you ungrouping each of the words into its own little thing that you can click on, but you are every little component of each letter is also becoming its own thing. So for example, Let's take a look at this, the letter I. I'm going to zoom in here. When you release the compound path, then this little piece is its own, see that? It's its own movable part, okay? So if you're not careful, so I'm just gonna hit undo. If you're not careful, then you can kind of move things around that you don't want to move. So, but this function will allow you to come over and clean up everything that you don't want. Now, there's also the eraser tool, but I've been told that the eraser tool can cause things to go slow, which I've never experienced that myself, but I've also not done a lot of erasing with the eraser tool. But what I do is I just come over here, everything, I've released my compound path. So all of these are separate little things, and I just start deleting. So I highlight like this, and I just start deleting. I can highlight all of this garbage over here that I don't want. I can delete all this. Oh, my mouse is going so slow. There we go. So sometimes it's easier to not be zoomed in quite so much so that your cursor can go a little faster. But I just literally come all the way over here, get rid of that, get rid of this little guy, you know, and just go through and do some cleanup, because you're gonna have some random like specks, like this little guy right here that you wanna delete. So once you do that, you're ready. I mean, you need to flip your image, obviously, since if you're doing heat transfer vinyl. I mean, you could put something like this onto, you know, a piece of wood or whatever. So, but make sure you flip it. For those of you who don't know how to do that, I'm going to go ahead and just make it smaller here. Even though I'm not done with cleanup yet, you know, just highlight everything again like this, and then you can right click and you can make compound path again. And then, you know, there's everything there. And then you can click object. You're going to mirror it. You're going to flip horizontally. For those of you who haven't done any heat transfer vinyl yet, you have to do that, or else your letters are going to come back, are going to be backwards. So that is what that looks like. As far as how I got the letters to be so fine, again, you want to make sure that you have yellow in all the spots that you are actually wanting to trace, and then making sure that you have a high resolution image. If you don't have a high resolution image, then it's going to be, they're not going to be clean lines, if that makes sense. What was the other thing some of you guys asked about the pillow cover that I used. I got that from RCS Blanks. I'll post the item number when I get home. It was about $6, which I think there are some out there that are cheaper, but that's the one I used. It has a zipper on it, and it's about 18 by 18 inches, so it was good sized. And then I just bought a big bag of pillow stuffing from Walmart. I think I can probably make about 4 or 5 pillows with it, and it was $9. So I thought that was pretty inexpensive. And I just used Sizer Easy Weed for my heat transfer vinyl. So that is how I made it. I hope that makes sense. Please feel free to ask any questions if you have any. And again, thank you so much for the love. It was really fun to read it, and I just feel like it's such a special treasure now that I have it at my house. And I know a lot of you guys have similar things too, so hopefully you can turn it into a nice little keepsake. So thanks, guys. Let me know if you have questions.